Good morning. I'm treating myself to a run out here. They're building a new bridge and the road is closed, so it's very peaceful out here, and you can hear in the background the sandhill cranes. But I want to talk about something very important today. Let's talk about two things and see if they connect. Let's talk about bicycle racing and depression. Because my friends don't know this about me, most of them don't know. I was a bicycle racer, and I was a state champion 2 years, and I raced on the track, and I went to the national championships 2 years, and I was one place out of the junior world championship team. And looking back, I know, if I knew then what I know now, maybe it would have been different. But let's think about that. Let's think about bicycle racing. And I've been watching track racing on YouTube a tiny little bit. I haven't watched that in 20 years. Go back to like looking at what track racing looks like, and I get to see people with my body type, very strong people, riding these track bikes around this banked track. And the question is, what's happening there in terms of the inner experience of the body. The inner experience of the body is that this closing and tightening and tucking down, and the front pulls tight. The front is really contracted in bicycle racing. That's by necessity. The wind is the enemy. So how does that tie into depression, right? Well, let's think about it. The depression, think about what it would feel like to be depressed. It's just sort of closing up in front, right? There's a posture of depression. And the posture of depression is actually the same pattern as the startle reflex. If a very loud noise goes off behind you, it's just that. We close up the front. It's self-protective. There's survival value in it. And since our nervous system is has magnificent abilities to improvise and adapt and overcome, the nervous system adapts to get really good at what it does a lot of. So if you're a bicycle racer and you're training and strengthening that ability to be forward and hunched, well, that might be a pattern that you're so good at that your brain just starts to hold you in that all the time. I saw an interesting video where a track cyclist was training a running sprinter, and they switched sports basically. And when that explosive running sprint out of the starting blocks, when the bicycle racer, a world champion female, came out, she couldn't open up her body. Her body didn't open up. She still was hunched over, even though it was that explosive trying to get long. And I spent a lot of my life, actually, from my bicycle racing years. When I look back at it, it's a correlation. I spent a lot of my life really depressed. I was sad a lot. And when we're in that pattern, that posture of depression, it's very easy to feel like, to be depressed like this. You don't see too many depressed people, walking around like that. No, depressed people, the front is tight. We're closed up in front. And there's a connection. And the question is, if the brain learns the pattern really well, that posture, and likes to hold us in the pattern of depression, is there a way to teach the brain to escape it? Now, stretching doesn't really give the feedback the brain needs to regain control of these things that it does just automatically. It needs a different kind of feedback. And I believe the answer to that is a type of movement pattern called pandiculation. If we tune it up, you can teach your nervous system to help you escape these patterns of persistent tension, where our mind is just along for the ride sometimes. Just think about it. The brain and the body are together, and life is better not being depressed. And I can show you some really powerful tools to be more free from those patterns that exist in our habits that got us through life, but maybe they don't serve us so well right now. It's important to be depressed when we need to be, but it's a recovery, but we don't need to be all the time. So blessings to you, and have a beautiful day.